What's up, everybody? It's the Dynamic Duo, and today we're going to be dropping our review for Obi-Wan Kenobi, Episode 1. Now, we do know Episode 2 dropped at the same time, but that will be its own video. We open up with a flashback, a recap of everything that has happened so far in Star Wars, the happy times of Obi-Wan Kenobi, the times with his brother Anakin, his master Qui-Gon, and his family that was the Jedi Order. Now, I just have to say, this was so perfectly done as a recap. Within just this alone, I was already teary-eyed. Goosebumps were covering my arm. Just seeing everything that's happened in the Star Wars universe up to this point, it's emotional, it's perfect, it's nostalgic. Especially since these happy memories of Anakin and Obi-Wan, our favorite Jedi, quickly turn into the dark memories. All the bad times, the fall of the Jedi Order, the fall of Anakin Skywalker, and the dark times of the Empire coming. Immediately after, we get another throwback to the Jedi Temple on Coruscant in the year 19 BBY. We see Jedi younglings training with their Jedi instructor. The day seems peaceful, the night sky and city lights as beautiful as ever in the bustling streets of Coruscant. But that beauty does not last long. The door slides open, 2 501st Clone Troopers storm in and immediately begin firing. The Jedi Knight wastes no time in protecting the younglings, drawing her lightsaber, making quick work of the clones. Now, before we continue, can we just admire how amazing these clone troopers look? They look so much better than the CGI ones that we got forever ago in Revenge of the Sith. And I absolutely love it. Continuing on, the unnamed Jedi instructor leads her students out as they enter the hallway. A Jedi struggles against 2 troopers. And the amazing thing about this is we actually see still, it's a good attention to detail, not all clones are using the DC-15A blaster carbine or the DC-15S. Some are still using the DC-15A blaster rifle. Some of you may know it as the DC-15LE if you played Battlefront 2, which they were just more common earlier in the Clone Wars. Anyways, yeah, they make quick work of that poor guy who was probably just on his way to get a midnight snack in the Jedi Temple. The Jedi instructor deflects some blaster bolts to protect the kids, taking the clones down with their own ammo before taking down 2 more clones down the hall. More clones engage, forcing them into the main room of the Jedi Temple, probably where they suspect they can receive some sort of help. Unfortunately for them, the clones keep pouring in. Before long, the instructor is overrun, unable to fight off the immense amount of clones engaging her. She is shot in the stomach and killed. Now, once again, before we move on, in this scene right here, we actually see a Jedi Knight behind her, who seems to have been fighting off clones for who knows how long. But before he succumbs to his injuries, he takes out one of the last remaining clones on the boardwalk, ultimately saving these younglings along with the Jedi instructor. The kids realize they have no time to mourn, and sticking together, they run away, leaving the temple behind. The camera pans out slowly, and we see Order 66 has just been issued, and Operation Nightfall, also known as the Siege of the Jedi Temple by most fans, is commencing. Many Jedi fight for their lives, but the clones fight harder. Before it goes to black, we see almost no lightsabers remaining in the fight. The Jedi Order is dead. Then we get hit with a sweet title card of some sand. Anakin would hate it. Now, in the present, 10 years later, we see a group of Inquisitors getting off a ship on Tatooine. They're on a mission. Hunt the Jedi. They get word that a Jedi is hiding out in a saloon he once saved. We later learn his name is Nari, and they draw him out by using his very own compassion against him. They do not kill him though, and he barely escapes. But here we learn one Inquisitor is on a very specific mission of her own. The third sister wants to find Obi-Wan Kenobi, and other Jedi are nothing more than a nuisance to her. On another part of the desert planet, we see Obi-Wan Kenobi working a very poor job processing meat and even taking some for himself just to stay fed due to the low pay he receives. He makes his way home, relaxes for a bit, and then is met by a Jawa named Tika, who is trying to sell him some goods, including items he stole from Kenobi himself and a belt of a former Jedi that was salvaged from a ship. Later that night, we see Obi-Wan sleeping like a little baby. Just kidding. We see Obi-Wan having nightmares of his past. A scene of him and Anakin dueling on Mustafar, his master Qui-Gon dying, Anakin dueling Dooku, the duo riding in a speeder together, Anakin burning. We can see he has regrets, killing his best friend, his brother. Not only Anakin, though. We see memories of Padme and Anakin together, of their kids, and the way Obi-Wan blames himself for all of this, everything that's happened to the people he loves. He wakes up in a sweat, calling out to Qui-Gon and just hoping for a response. But the Force ghost of his late master is nowhere to be found. In the morning, Obi-Wan leaves to check on Luke, still in the care of his Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru. Owen loses sight of Luke for a bit and panics, but is quickly relieved as he finds him acting just like his father, playing on an imaginary pod racer. As night falls, Obi-Wan leaves a gift for the young Skywalker, a simple toy. He meets the young Jedi from earlier, Nari, but Obi-Wan attempts to convince him he is not the Jedi Master known as Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's just a man, a normal man, named Ben. It doesn't work, and Obi-Wan tells him the only way to keep living is to bury his lightsabers, stay hidden, and live a normal life. He reminds him, the fight is done. We've lost. Nari, like all the viewers, can only be saddened by what Obi-Wan has become. Meanwhile, on Alderaan, we see Leia. Well, a little girl Leia put in her place so she could go play in the woods. In no time, Leia's mother and the guards bring her back. But from the shadows we see someone is stalking the young princess. This scene shows us that Leia doesn't want to be a leader. She wants to be a kid. We can see the drive in her though, the rebellious nature and her stubborn but fierce attitude, just like her mother, Padme. Once again, Kenobi works, then leaves back home. But this time, Owen meets him. He throws the gift for Luke on the ground, demanding Kenobi stay away. Obi-Wan tells him that when the time comes, Luke needs to be trained. But Owen, loving Luke like a son, refuses. He remarks rather aggressively, like you trained his father? Anakin is dead, Ben, and I won't let you make the same mistake twice. But before the argument could continue, the Inquisitors show up. They waste no time threatening the townspeople to give up the Jedi. Reva, the third sister, even cuts off a woman's hand and holds a lightsaber to Owen's neck, telling everyone if they do not speak, he and his family will die. But the fifth brother orders her to stop, pulling her off to the side. He rebukes her, criticizing her behavior. Obi-Wan thanks Owen, but Owen makes sure he knows it wasn't for him. Back on Alderaan, once again, there's a gathering of some sorts, royalty, politicians. We can see right away, though, through Bail's interaction with the father, that this family is repulsive. Leia gets into a little argument with her cousin, who insults her pretty harshly, calling her a fake Organa and treating her as if she is below him. But she doesn't take that, and she goes off on him, pretty much calling him a scared little boy. After the gathering, Bail Organa gives her a nice long talk, asking her to apologize and reassuring her that she is a true Organa. She is his daughter, and one day she will be the greatest leader, far better than her cousin. But now it's time for her to apologize and be the bigger person. She agrees, but ends up running into the woods to play instead. There, multiple bounty hunters chase her. She evades them and almost even gets saved by Alderaan guard, who finds her. But unfortunately, this goat is killed, and she is captured. Back on Tatooine, a transmitter beeps in Kenobi's home. He answers it, and with no hesitation, Bail and Breha Organa beg him for help in bringing Leia back. Kenobi reminds them his duty is to Luke, not Leia. But they tell him they are both important. They are both the children of Padme and Anakin. He still refuses. Then we see a brief scene where Leia is on the bounty hunter's ship. Back in town the next day, Obi-Wan sees Nari hung up in the middle of town, killed by the Inquisitors. After a bit of sadness, Kenobi makes his way back home where Bail Organa is waiting for him. He reminds them of his past, of who he was. Finally, he agrees to help. He digs up his lightsaber, and beside his is Anakin's. He then leaves Tatooine to go save Leia. That is the end of the episode. And after all of that, I can't help but give Obi-Wan Kenobi a 10 out of 10 rating. This series is just starting off so strong. It's so good. Seeing Anakin, Padme, Obi-Wan, Leia, Luke, all of them, it's amazing. And I couldn't get enough of it. My favorite part was undoubtedly Order 66, though. I loved seeing the new live-action Clone Trooper look. Clone Troopers are my favorite. They introduced me into media as a whole. Star Wars, Marvel, DC. They're my favorite. It was amazing seeing them again. It was amazing seeing Operation Nightfall from different points of view. It's just spectacular. This was a 10 out of 10 episode, and I cannot wait to see more. Make sure to go watch Kenobi on Disney+. Peace out, everybody. Goodbye.